for in the Latin American region, so they will definitely be representing that themselves a little bit too. As we get into it though, they're going to have to test themselves against some of the very best in the region in FaZe Clan. And even though, yes, they did make a roster change where M80 did not, it's a pretty perfect swap, as you've heard quite a few of us talk about now in FaZe Clan.
Yes, indeed. And already starting off with some strong bans here. I love this from FaZe Clan, already recognizing what M80's play style is. We're going to have to get used to that one, aren't we? As they're going to take the Monty. That's something that we usually see from Spirits. He really likes his shield plays, but that doesn't mean that he can't just take blitz. He's also kind of prone to that every once in a while. Really loves to try and throw off the defense with those shield plays, but going to be lacking one of those going into this game.
Zombie making sense here. Still seeing quite a bit of a Zombie play on most maps. She is a very useful operator, very much on a universal basis, and a very independent operator at that. If a very potent player is able to get a hold of her, she can become very dangerous. So oftentimes she is first to be banned out. Cade, specifically for this map, has quite a few pain points where you can get those electric claws into positions where it is very difficult to deal with them. So it appears as though the team that banned him out does not want to deal with that, and they'll knock him out instead.
All right, so how are we going to start things off on Oregon here, folks? We've got laundry supply for our defense down low, and it's looking fairly straightforward. A lot of delay here, as well as the warding coming in, just to make things a little bit easier for them if the full execute comes through from M80. They won't be thwarted by those potential smokes that they could have, but fortunately, obviously, we get to notice what's going to happen for M80. They could switch up a couple of different things for their operator lineup, but as of right now, that won't play too heavily into that situation, and more than likely just be the stuns coming through.
Got a couple players standing still, so we'll see what's going on with that in a second if there is anything going on.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we've got a call for a rehost just yet.
Yeah, like I said, it seems like everything is on the up and up right now, so we haven't seen a rehost call, so we're just going to continue as normal until we are told otherwise. But as we take a look at this hold here from the FaZe Clan roster, it is going to be a fairly straightforward basement play from them. Just in terms of the utility being brought to the table as well, quite a bit to try and hold this back. Okay, yeah, so we did get that confirmed. We're just going to reset real quick. Had a feeling it was coming, just didn't want to make any assumptions, but we will do this very quickly, folks, as we didn't even start the first round, so it should be a pretty fast process of setting the lobby up once again.
Yeah, not too hard. The only thing that you need to know is that when we do go through with these rehosts, if a round was already active like this one was, that means that they have to repick all of the same operators and pick the same site. So that's really going to be the only thing going into this. So any information that was garnered from the offense or defense, definitely going to be benefiting them in any sort of the term. But it more than likely be benefiting the offense more than anything, just because having the, those drones roll in, figure out a couple ops, figure out a couple positions, just always going to probably lean their way just a tad bit more. But either way, we'll be back in momentarily to kick things off. FaZe wanted to go downstairs with their initial defense, so that means that M80 is going to have to go for the full Oregon clear. M80, it's definitely going to be a game where they need to show up with a strong stance right from the beginning of it here. As you heard the analysis desk mention, M80's been on a bit of a disappointing run, obviously back when they were still being represented by XSET over the past few months. Stage 3 gave them a very unfortunate run. I think they finished off around 7th at the end of that stage, and then also earlier on in the year when you consider the fact that they had pretty high placements at both of the majors, that's not the way they wanted to end the year. We really haven't heard much from them since then other than the organization change, of course. But as we talked about on our previous matchup earlier today, there's a massive break, of course, between the last time we saw this team play and SI now, so they've really had almost like half a year to reinvent themselves, get themselves ready for this specific event, and in some extent, this specific map, which means that we could be looking at a very different M80 when we actually get into the action, which thankfully is happening right now. Yeah, it's so strange for us because esports moves so quickly, right? It's like we blinked and all of a sudden we're casting M80 again, but they haven't been seen in the public view for
October would have been their last game.
It's so very long, so practically 4 or 5 months. Yeah. So just a ridiculous time period to be able to fix anything. You could start from scratch and have a solid team in 5 months, I'm telling you. So, when you're starting with a squad that is already pretty darn amazing, and then you're going to take those 5 months and try and grind it out, we could potentially see some, encrusted diamonds here from M80, but we'll have to see. FaZe Clan up to bat here with round 1. It's going to be a downstairs defense. Not going to be playing the single panel there for the freezer that we usually see around the bomb chassis, and more of an aggressive front initially here for FaZe Clan as they're looking for those drones.
Souls will be on top of that over here towards Yellow Hall as he tries to watch out for the early clear that would come in from Small Tower, if there is going to be one, of course. As our Terror drones are going to pop in and find immediate effectiveness as Vitaking's deployable shield is going to be taken down. Still has that one ADS sitting forward, so he has some play potential here. The Volcon canister is going to be blown up. Flames will not spread over to the ADS, which means once again, we can still see a little bit of prowess strung out here from Viking. He wants to continue putting that presence down over towards the alternate construction hallway, but we'll have to eventually give it up here over the next few seconds, I would imagine.
Nicely placed pre-fires there from M80. Mostly Gomez, obviously, as he was taking that fight there from the shower hallway. That's going to open things up on this mid-floor and allow them to transition into these hatches. That's going to be under the job of the Habana. They still have Yaga here as well for the torch, but he's just kind of a secondary utility piece here. He's more of an aggressive piece. He can try and fight things out. An entry frag here, especially with this M4. So just strong gun, and with that new extended barrel having 15% flat on your damage, whichever gun you can slap that thing on and it's usable, then, well, there's really no reason that you shouldn't. That's one of the really solid guns as well. Really get to see if he had it on there, but either way, just always a good backup option for your hard breach that can be a little bit more aggro with that 3-speed.
And the rest of M80 certainly taking their time with things in the opening half of the first round being played out here. FaZe, of course, responding in kind, playing their own passive game downstairs. They really have no reason to try and swing out and be aggressive against this M80 clear, especially with the emphasis they have on the first floor at the moment. Really on that one player going down towards construction to try and clear out some of the utility more than anything, rather than actually push the angle outright. You've seen that player now make the return over towards that area. It's going to be Diaz, of course, looking to make that play, but he still needs his teammates to help him out on the back stairs before he can really put the right foot forward here.
I mean, they're processing this extremely well, I will give them that, using their time to their full advantage and all of this utility. And you can see Yogg isn't wasting anything. He isn't just dumping stuns for no reason. Everything is measured and checked by M80, but DS will go down. It looks like FaZe might actually be in some hot water here, but no, they're going to be able to take down 2 M80 members, make it 3, as they were able to get the wrap on the site, get these hatches open, but FaZe has quickly made mincemeat of the entire team. It's down to Kino. Could be a flawless round here for FaZe, although Astro is down. Can Kino pick up anything here? Goes for the gunfight up against the Jaeger. Only some tidbits delivered, and it's going to be Souls to make it a flawless. Extremely well done from FaZe. Very patient in their delivery, and honestly, a very good timing when it came down to it on their execution of their game plan.
Absolutely the case. Unfortunately, for the M80 side of things, nothing really to throw FaZe Clan's defense off during the process of that execute there. There was no sort of secondary push or any sort of player that was trying to sneak in and throw off the defenses of FaZe Clan. And as a result of that one, FaZe Clan are able to adapt, synchronize their setup once they realize it is coming from the backstairs and construction route, and just shut it down in the exact default way you'd expect most teams to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely happy with how M80 processed the map overall, right? Very quick to get their hatches open, very solid about clearing things out as a unit, as well as Gomez, you know, making sure nothing weird was going to go down around security / shower with that little gunfight that they had there in the doorway. That's always something that you want to do, because the one time that you don't check that properly or send a shot or do something, that's the time that you die. So just very, very solid gameplay there from Gomez. You can tell they've been running over these maps these last couple of days. It's just second nature to him. He doesn't even have to think about it. But past that, M80 really started to fall apart once Diaz got in trouble, and that was the crux of the entire setup, because guess where he was, John? Outside in construction on the barrels. So that side angle that's worried about pillars and, you know, blue and that whole area over there, it was just dead and gone. They really can't do anything anymore. They had to try and fight from the stairwell as well as the hatches, and that's the worst place to be in Rainbow Six.
M80 out once again, this time with their scopes aimed at the second floors. FaZe Clan will be defending up here this time. Operator lineup has adjusted accordingly. Spirit's going to waste no time with the Gara hook, by the way. Probably pre-drone this to reconfirm that there is indeed no one playing around T2, T3. That'll be especially true when we have the reinforcement going into the attic double panel there. So there is not going to be much reason for hesitation on Spirit's utility to immediately take that control. And now the team start to line themselves up to swing in from not only the master side, but of course the attic side too, assuming they can get that open.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted that they have this open and no one's playing like smoke with a shotgun here or something. It looks like Astro wants to try and just get initially aggressive, and then I believe, yes indeed, they still have 3 panels, so he can slap a panel up on that thing whenever he wants to. The problem will be if he gets in too much trouble and dies. Then that panel's just open for free and you have some really big problems. Astro, please, please, I'm begging you, get away from this man. Diaz is dealing too much damage. He's gonna stun in, but are they even willing to go for the reinforcement panel now? He's had so much damage dealt to him. If he goes back and dies, that's 2 picks for M80.
Astro playing this very carefully to try to suss out if there is still aggressively lean positions from M80 ready to move in and take control of the games room. But so far has not been able to get that intel just yet. You were correct, though. Astro does not feel the confidence to go back in and reinforce the panel, and he has no one nearby that can appropriately rotate to do it for him. So that wall is going to stay open. That means that FaZe Clan will be down, and unfortunately, they've just made the execute one step quicker for M80, assuming they go that direction. Gomez with the read on Bullet, however, catches him rolling back through Yellow Hall and knocks him down.
Truly disgusting stuff. What a read there, as you said, but more than likely picked off just from that drone there. Yeah. Seemed like he was able to at least get around the building pretty well into that last little interaction there in Small Tower, huh? Seems like Astro wants to try and go fishing as well. He won't find much, though. Gomez, hook, line, and sinker. Has his own bass boat, I heard. Souls, he's going to be trying to hold it down inside of kids' dorms, but, I mean, it's looking like hot water in there as of right now. So many stun grenades starting to pour in, and Vita King, he's worse for wear. He's dead and gone, and so are the other members of FaZe. M80 right their sins. After what we saw initially, it was a flawless round for round 1 for FaZe, and M80 fire back in round 2.
FaZe try to put their aggressive foot forward, end up giving far too many opening kill opportunities over to the M80 roster, and M80 grabs those at every single opportunity that is presented to them. 3 kills, I believe, just on entry before they even step foot into the general zone of the actual bomb site. And as a result of that, it is a very simplistic execute when push comes to shove, and they have to try and close down the round. 1-1 scoreline, dead heat so far between both of these teams. FaZe Clan now going to be fully testing their mettle as they go for the full rotation over here into meeting room before rotating back down into the basement, as it will be unlocked on the next round.
All right.
We actually have Solus for the first time for the two of us, at least, here as well.
Yeah, we will. I think we had Solus for a split moment on an earlier map that we didn't have her banned out, but she's been banned or played in every single map that we've casted here today, which, yeah, as you said, makes sense. I mean, the operator's absolutely crazy. What else could you possibly want in an op? Look at what she's doing right now. I don't need to explain this to you. She knows where everybody is, man. Look at her. She knows where Kino's drone is right now. That is absurd. Oh, my. But, yeah, you see it right there. You see why this operator is so, beneficial to the defense. Not only can you get rid of drones, you know where people are on their phones, you know any electronic the offense is using, and you have some pretty stellar guns. You have an SMG-11 secondary, a shotgun, or the P90, which is just a bullet spitter. Plus, with the new extended barrel attachment, giving 15% more damage to your gun, I mean, it isn't only headshots you're going to be able to kill with anymore.
Gomez once again leaping directly into T3 here with access to the Gara hook. Will waste no time taking that early control. Sets up a flank watch position for the time being as he waits for the rest of his teammates to set up the push in through the backside here. It does look like they may go for that direct play in through Big Tower. It's a very simplistic push for the attackers, but it's also a very dangerous one as you'll be attempting to take the site with absolute minimum of map control. You can see this. M80 will be fully confident in that, so they are going to be exploring their options over by Yellow and a few other spots on the map too.
I don't know how you feel about this, but this might be the most patient I have ever seen M80 in my life.
For sure.
Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. He's going to be able to... Oh, he didn't even down him. DSD alive. He proned immediately.
Gomez got Astro instead somewhere else.
What? That is so incredible from M80. Look at the way that they're just playing the entire map at once right now, John. They have the supporting angles outside, benefiting from the windows. You have Gomez down low trying to shut off the kitchen rotations. If anybody wants to try and rotate out or in, more than likely dead and gone. Finally, FaZe will get something of their own, though. But Diaz, he's looking the wrong way. He's looking towards tower side, but the man's coming down white. Might have another chance here to try and cut him off, but Souls looks to be trying to play things out for the remainder of this round closer to sight.
Rest of FaZe continuing to try and patiently wait this one out, see if they can trap the members of M80, get them to walk into the wrong part of the map here, into their own setup, but so far that really hasn't been happening over the past 2 rounds. FaZe Clan overplays their hand, of course, on round number 2. This time, they peel it back a little bit too much and are allowing M80 just to make their own plays off of the back of that earlier entry. Thankfully, it hasn't gone too far to their own control. Still even, in fact, at the 4v4, and with just about a minute remaining, M80 is moving right along schedule here to try to put themselves into the site. Have to make sure, of course, they don't get tripped up on this transition back down to the first floor, as that's where they can lose that excess time they currently have.
Yes, indeed. A lot of things benefiting both squads right now. Obviously for M80, it's the fact that there is no longer an echo. They don't have to worry about those cams, potential stoppage from that. They do have to worry about some utility, but you have IQ for all of the pre-play stuff and more than likely oversight for the Nitro cell when that comes through. M80 looking for the stage plan here. A beautiful frag grenade. Nothing to stop it either. Bullet goes down. They don't have the proper paneling work here, but it doesn't matter. They've got enough of a crack in it to be able to support both the split angles here. They're going to fight it out, though. Souls will take down Spirits. That's a big issue with having that singular 2-piece hold there. It's super easy to pre-fire and try and get a kill, but when Kino's firing back off the case, it's going to make life pretty hard. Oh my, Cyber almost gets it done. It's going to be up to King to try and seal the deal up against Gomez, but Gomez will shut it down. M80 knows where he is, and they'll heat seek him. It's 2-1 in favor of NA.
King just 5 seconds away from ending that round on the timer as well. Could not stem the tide from M80 as they forced their way into another round 1 there. As you were talking about, only the single angle to look for the attack. It kind of works both ways, though, as the defenders don't really have a proper angle to fend off against that unless they push out into the open themselves. As we can see here, multiple members of FaZe trying to push, trying to directly contend against the push from backstage, but just could not win the gunfight. So M80 takes it and the lead along with it.
I mean, talk about using your X-Kairos to their maximum potential. I mean, Kino used those on everything and the kitchen sink inside of that round. That was truly incredible. Those were the last 2 X-Kairos in his gun, John, that he used just for that single little breach there, so they had the angle to oversight Kino. I mean, wow, incredible stuff. Obviously covering himself there a little bit because he was the one playing the Hibana, so he's just like, guys, please don't let me die. But still, I mean, what a way for them to break down that round and find success through a means that we don't normally see. You don't usually see Hibana getting used on big walls and stuff like that, just because teams are so worried about having those big breaches. But M80 just proved it right there. You don't need a massive hole to make these things work out.
FaZe Clan is going to be hoping that their prior successes, such as back on round number 1, will be echoed here as they go for the second run around of sites. No pause to be seen here, as they feel they've got what it takes, at least on this site, to keep rolling forward. Would not be surprised if we see one should M80 claim a 3rd round here, though, as then they'll be FaZe Clan going 1-1 on their basement hold as well, after being relatively close to losing it on the first play as well.
Fantastic stuff here from Gomez. All that pre-firing, he knows that more than likely Souls, but a FaZe member is wanting to play inside a small tower again. And sometimes you get lucky, man. Sometimes you send some shots in an area that you know is a little routine, and you'll just pick somebody off. So always respect that when you do see it. Saw that from him earlier in the initial round there where he was pre-firing right to security off rip. Knew that somebody was more than likely going to be around there, and he chose right. Just didn't get the kill. Able to slip through the cracks and back down to the site in that situation for round 1. But here for round 4, M80 have been able to quickly get into the building, clear things out, and start looking forward to these hatches, which will once again be on Kino's shoulders.
All right, we're going to make the quick transition downstairs. A little bit of pre-fire on the way. So he's a bit worried of a swing, given the drones that are actively watching his descent right there. But he makes it not too much of an issue. Terror drone's going to start to be dumped in towards construction, just like we saw in round number 1 here as well, to get rid of the setup supporting King. Once again, he'll lose that deployable shield first off. The ADS is up next, and I don't believe we've got the Vulcan canisters sitting over on construction doorway this time, so that one will be replaced. Oh, it's just next to it. So he has a little bit more direct control over the explosion timing on this one now.
This is the beauty of Rainbow Six, is it's all about the micro adjustments. We're going to play the exact same op, but instead of putting it on the door, we're going to move it a meter to the left, and it'll work way better this time.
Makes sense too, because King already knows that, like, yeah, they're not going to like rush me or anything if they play it relatively similar. At most, we got like 1-2 guys that are going to push this angle, so I should be able to get that pump off and at least delay them in the worst case that I go down.
Exactly. I know they're going to Rotero the drawer on top of all that stuff, or the door rather on top of all of that stuff, so just makes sense to move that off, make it a little bit more beneficial for you where they don't have control over blowing that up. Cyber's going to go down here. Kino eating him alive there with the Type 89. Going to get some more X-Gyros out, but those are immediately shot off. Either way, they know that Cyber's downed more than likely in that boiler position. So what does M80 do now with 40 seconds remaining?
Gomez balls in his court to some extent here as he's got the backstairs push under his control. Self-drones in, reconfirms the down position of Cyber. They know he's not getting revived. They also know where Souls is going to be playing from now too, but still, he swings out, gets away with one. Gomez gets the trade-off and finally finishes off the other down player from FaZe as well here. Bullet just barely survives with a sliver of HP as he now gets the trade back onto Spirits. King needs to get himself into this fight too as they're now in a deficit. 2v3 coming down to the final 15 seconds, but more importantly, Case is temporarily down. The patience from Gomez though, second to none here as he shuts down one more alongside Diaz to win the round.
Not a single person overplaying their hand. I mean, yes, obviously M80 still had some deaths, but they're just losing gunfights. That happens.
Yeah, and it's like it's a basement fire.
Exactly. Dude, there's no better way to put it than a basement fire. That's basically what Oregon is when it comes to executing. It's a straight up hell in a handbasket basement fire. That's all it is. And yeah, M80 playing that out perfectly. You saw once again the patience from Gomez there. He just steps up to the single panel instead of pushing all the way down Freezer Hall or trying to push things through E-Box. He takes the perfect angle right there on the panel and lets FaZe Clan be their own demise. They're playing so very well in positions like that as of right now, and this is all due to the fact of what they were able to do with these last 4 months. This is all that grind time coming to fruition right here in front of our eyes.
Specifically for Gomez right now, as he is lights out at the moment at 8-1. Next highest teammate is going to be Diaz at 3-1 as well, so he's been a huge proponent here to the success of M80 so far. Just the last round, I believe, getting at least 3 out of 5 of the kills on the entry. There's some beautiful work coming in from him. We haven't even really needed to see the rest of these players step up yet, so when the pressure gets put on by FaZe, that's when we're really going to get the test of the other 4.
Yeah, I mean, so far from M80, I mean, the real reason we're not seeing as many kills from them is it's just been proper pressure and FaZe like slowly working their way back to site, and then Gomez kills all of them on rotation.
Yep.
That's what we're seeing, and he's more than likely going to continue to do that. I guarantee you that silhouette out by the bus is him, 100% once again, just sitting there waiting for someone to try and rotate through white. And what do you know? He's over at bus again. This is his domain. If you guys want to know his address, it's Small Tower, White, Oregon.
What part of Oregon?
You said, oh, well, that's actually pretty hard, John.
Yeah, it's a pretty big address.
Fun thing, this is actually not in Oregon. I'm just kidding.
All right, well, let's take a peek here at M80's initial push once again. The Garhook has come back out one more time for Spirits, at least the 3rd time we've seen them using it just to get immediate tier 3 access. And of course, now follow it through specifically for this take with the 2 can openers to be able to open up attic access as well. Immediate 2-layered push right there, and only about a minute use in order to make that happen as well. Very clean usage of the utility here from Spirits, and it's all very synchronized as well, so he can just swing himself right back up to T3 when it's all completed to prevent any nasty flank business that FaZe may try to deploy against him.
Yeah, FaZe are not nearly as aggressive in their strategy when it comes to the overarching storyline here for round 5. No panel open, real nothing. Minus Cyber down here roaming with Solus. We do have Valkyrie down here as well on a second glance, so Bolt will be around, but Astro surely won't be as Gomez once again strikes true. 9-1-1, somebody call the doctor, because oh my, M80 is surely on the case. Souls trying to fight back inside of the attic, but not able to accomplish all that. Muzz Viking is going to go down. Souls will be able to trade out, at least for Spirits. It's a 2 versus 3, as M80's quickly making work around 5.
Bullet held up for those crucial few extra seconds here while M80 was positioning themselves, I believe, for a plan. It should be over those next few seconds here. Now as they rotate back up, immediately we see the effectiveness of that extra time because of the nade. Yaga just immediately shuts down Bullet. Soul's going to sneak off one as he finally puts down Gomez inside of this round. Nice little play on the smart glasses there to quickly counter out the flash that's sent his way, but he's still only working with it. You can see it there on the bottom right side. Just a tiny bit of HP here for Souls. 1 bullet and he is down for the count, so you can completely rationalize why he is playing this so slowly, so carefully to try and just find those instant headshot picks against both Yaga and Diaz. It's going to be a tough ask, though, given that both these players have now been able to successfully escape outside of the plant area. And it is nigh impossible now for Souls to pull this off.
It's just so rude from Yogg. He could have at least been nice and played White Stairs, but he wasn't. He went all the way down low, and not only that, but he's got the DMR, so he can just open the floor whenever he wants to. This is sick. Disgusting stuff from Yogg. Diaz more than likely going to be the one to deliver, but Yogg, he didn't even go for the verticality through the floor. Instead, he just re-challenged White Stairs, which obviously works as well. The case just a little bit too far out from that corner. Could have just caught his hand there with the defusal device in hand. M80 quickly taking it to FaZe Clan here. 4-1 currently, and man, oh man, would I love to hear Jesse and Jacob yelling at each other right now.
It's also 4 rounds in a row from M82. FaZe Clan's only round 1 was the very first round when they initially played Basement. Speaking of which, they're going to go back to it now for round number 6, but ever since then, M80 has taken full control of this entire map so far here, and is not really showing us any signs that they're going to be giving it up for either this last round or the first few of the next half.
No, the key thing right now for FaZe is they're not playing to win, they're playing to not lose. They're playing to survive. Everything that M80 has been doing has been straight up dissection. I mean, to FaZe, if you're looking at it from their lens, right? Think about this. Every single time that they go on roam, they just magically cross a window and somebody's dead. Like that, and that's just been a continual thing over and over again until we get to executes, where M80 have been also abusing FaZe Clan. Perfect example, that last round where they basically scooped ripped out the entire defense from their own site and then planted. And we're like, okay, now you're allowed back in. You know, they're just getting away with so much right now, and FaZe is just simply playing to survive. I really want to see them try and get some confidence back in and of themselves, and maybe this basement setup will be just that key.
FaZe is also playing, at least in my opinion, a very, very default version of the defense here on Oregon, which, to be fair, is not like the huge black mark on their play here. It's Oregon after all, so you're going to be somewhat limited there, but
this is
Souls. More about this in a minute, as yeah, there is a little bit of a difference this time being played out by FaZe Clan. You have Souls deployed over towards the classroom. Cyber was playing top stairs, and he had support for it too. Well, eat my words. FaZe definitely shaking things up for this round. I know we had Cyber playing around there too, but obviously he's the one that's got caught, so no longer going to be an issue there as he's immediately taken down. We are locked to a 4v4 before we're even past the minute mark.
I honestly like this from FaZe, especially...
Well, it goes back to my prior criticism, right, where they're playing way too predictably on this defensive side. They needed to shake things up. Arguably, it's coming in a little late in the half, but at least they're showing us something now.
Absolutely, man. I think the key thing with that, I'm sure that a few of the people at home like, Souls, go back to site, man. What the hell are you doing? Listen, you force people to drone you in this game, okay? That's what you do. Like,
yeah, even though the play there doesn't give us any immediate effectiveness towards FaZe Clan, in my opinion, it's probably causing M80 to like double, triple check things now, and that's causing a very slight amount of slowdown, which may be exactly what FaZe need to just barely win this round, which is really all they're looking for right now, as you said previously.
Yeah, well, and the key thing is that M80 is working from the big tower side, so if they didn't check lobby and all that, which I believe they did, I think he's back downstairs, but I mean, if they didn't drone things out properly for Classroom there, then he just easily slips in through split, and which goes back to my point, right, which was force them to drone you. If you know that you can safely get out of a location and it's not too far away from where you need to be, why not play it? And it's working out right now for FaZe as they're going to get their second kill. They delayed some solid time here, but that doesn't mean that M80 can't make it out of the thick of it. That second frag grenade is not going to land on too much, but fortunately enough, they still have Yogg that has one in his pocket.
M80 still making actually very good time in the situation, irregardless of the issues they faced earlier on in the round here. Down to a 3v4, so I think they realize they need to be a tad more aggressive here to try to steal a kill away, and a kill they will find. Yogg is able to take down Astra, re-equalizing the situation down to a 3 versus 3. Diaz and at least one other member here in construction wants to play things out and swing against Vitaking, but now they've split up, just one player trying to play this angle, so it will be a much more measured approach. It's just going to be a default push from M80 here as they're out of options, need to try and go for the hatch play in order to make this execute work.
Yep, you can see the conversation going on from them because of the smokes that Vitaking has, trying to bait those out down low. It looks like they might have some trouble over there once again here. They've actually rotated everybody. Nobody's going to come in from the construction side, so this is going to allow Vitaking to use that smoke for other things. He might be able to prevent here. Bullet, lots of damage on the hill. It's not going to kill anybody. Games, or rather Gomez, is going to start putting down the bomb. We still have FaZe Clan with a few members up here, though. Gomez trying to work his way back around the case. He stopped that plant, but fortunately enough, now he has DS and the wings to be able to watch for him. All of the LMG ammo being utilized, and DS gets it done. It was so very close. On the cusp was FaZe Clan from taking away another round from M80, but they can't get it. 5-1 in favor of the New Org.
Impressive stuff from M80 here after we see their first half played out in quite a while. We talked about this at the beginning of the game. It's been months since we've really had an official, especially on international play from M80, and that was leaving a huge question mark in play with regards to how well they were going to be able to perform here against one of the best that LATAM has to offer. Apparently we've got the answer now, and M80 is more than ready for the challenge and is potentially looking to surprise the rest of the folks at home as well here with a shutdown against FaZe Clan.
I think they shocked FaZe right there because that was a Brazilian special I've ever seen one. FaZe immediately putting everybody on every access point. You got somebody in lobby, somebody in big tower, just all those different areas that they know that M80 is going to try and abuse initially. Somebody is waiting there for them, but M80 quickly dispatch everybody, take full control, and somehow still win out the round, even though FaZe had proper utility to deal with the situation. Masterful stuff from them here inside of this Oregon match. I mean, this is truly incredible. They look like a completely different team.
We'll see if they can keep things going just as strongly on the defensive side as well. FaZe Clan maybe going to get a little bit more play potential as a result of going over to this attacking side. A few repicks coming in for them as well. Very, very big on the intel game. FaZe Clan will be, for the first round of the attacking side, a Lion and a Dokkaebi being added to the equation here. In fact, one of those line charges might be coming off very soon. Haven't even talked about the fact that Finka is also in play here too. Personally, I'm expecting a very hot type of play, but oh no, they might have to call it off now. Vitaking going going down? Did they still have the confidence to make it happen? Now only having the Lion charge? Well, so far the answer is yes. Diaz goes 1 for 1 on the alt construction tunnel. Souls still has the confidence to move right through with the case in hand. This is a dangerous next step or two, though. If he moves forward in the wrong way, he's immediately going down, and they will not be able to plant until they take out pretty much the large majority of the remaining defense.
Yeah, the confidence left him as soon as you said the word confidence. He kind of just stopped dead.
Ironic.
Tracks. Ironically enough for FaZe. Now they're trying to battle back, but this is what M80 wants. This is exactly what they want. They want you to stand still so that they can constantly beat you into submission. FaZe Clan, though, they're at least able to stay in the ballpark. It's a 2 versus 4, and a lot of time still on the clock. Cyber still has an EE1D as well, and Souls has a lot of hard breach, but guys, we have got to stop walking into these angles. Oh my goodness, FaZe.
It's even more unfortunate, too, watching what just happened with Cyber at the end of the round there. They bring so many intel ops into play on this round. They bring the Lion, they bring the Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi gets picked like 10 seconds into the round. The Lion charge, it gets them into that initial construction tunnel, but they go 1 for 1. And then we see what happens there with Cyber, where he gets some intel to push a player, then suddenly that player pulls a Houdini, peeks the corner, like, all right, where has he gone? Oh, and I'm dead from a completely separate angle. Like, that's just super frustrating as a FaZe player to go through that round. And now you're on map point as well. It's just not a great situation, mentally speaking, that FaZe is in right now.
I can tell you from like the coach perspective for FaZe that they are probably not very, very happy right now.
This is very frustrating.
So much time left on the clock, John, and your choice is, oh, let me swing into multiple angles on the breach. Why? What, like that? You shouldn't be doing that. It's just, it's way too aggressive for the situation that they're in, and there's no chance for or potential for them to really do anything team play wise with that. It was just, you know, a very emotional swing there. You could see it. They were trying to fight and grasp for any inch of dirt that they could get, and M80 was just not having it. It's like we said at the beginning of that interaction there. This is what M80 wants from you. They want you to stand there in an area that they know you're there, so the whole squad can show up and gun you down.
This is the pick from M80 themselves. This is somewhat expected for them to win this map, of course. They felt the confidence to go to this one in the first place. But to this degree, that's where we're pushing the argument just a little bit too far, at least in my opinion. FaZe has the next pick coming up after this. And if you can see it there on the top right, it is going to be played on Chalet. So that'll be FaZe's last chance to try and rebound this against M80. Otherwise, we could be looking at another 2-0 shutdown in their favor if they continue to perform in this fashion on FaZe's own map pick.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, Jesse's Discord might be giving him a lot of grief in this upcoming week. I mean, because Vita King is just not working out as of right now. I really hope we can see a bounce back here, but 1-6. And not only that, but also 1-6 for Bullet and Cyber as well. Something is not right. That's what's happening, straight up. Like, you need to at least have some level of coordination here to be able to assist each other, and it just doesn't seem like they're really all on the same page. Not that it's not happening, right? Not that he's not trying to coordinate things, but whatever it is, it's definitely not coming to fruition.
Drone has snuck in, gotten that initial peek, of course, onto the bunks room. We'll be able to establish the fact that we do have that top-down angle to play against as well when they go for that type of play. So FaZe will now be wary of that when they are ready to finally make their execute forward. Moving into walking just to make sure there is no lurking piece of utility to be wary of. They won't find anything there. And the same can be said for the large majority of the rest of the first half, the second floor that FaZe is now in the process of clearing out the trophy. And of course the Arsenal side, undefended currently by M80, so FaZe will take up those initial positions.
Smorcell almost down, and oh man,
the impact trick.
A trick as old as the dirt that I'm standing on, John. The impacts off of the ceiling fan in the classroom. I literally did that like a month ago too, and I could feel myself aging actively. I was like, I learned this when I was like 19 years old. So just pretty funny that, you know, no matter what you know, even from years and years ago, it's still relevant even inside a professional match at the highest degree. Spirits of all people is gonna be the one popping open the side door and taking down Cyber from small tower. FaZe not showing any respect to the potential roam game of M80, and they are punished for it.
That was an attempt, I believe, to push alongside Spirit's zone play. Trying to go for 2 for 2 here, but player Big Window just loses the confidence to go for it, and especially so after Cyber had already been dropped. No need to take an additional risk there. Both the stuns, I believe, going out from the lifeline. Not really fishing out too much, but a peek is finally made. Spirits will claim a second target on this round, though this time via Nitro Cell. As he eliminates Souls, and overall, FaZe Clan taking a lot of additional damage from that Nitro. Astro down low, but now Astro as well as Vita King have finally turned the tables a little bit against M80 and have brought it back down to a 3v3. 30 seconds to go, though, and they're only just now approaching the very edge of the site. So how exactly are they going to be able to move in and take full control?
Well, looks like it's going to go down in games. This would be Vita King's first successful plan if he gets it. And it indeed will be. Astro will take down Kino. Bullet with a nice frag as well. It's going to be up to Yaga to clutch things up. Knows that there's potential for one on the rotation, but an easy kill for him onto Astro opens things up as well here. He knows that they more than likely have to be playing around the games area. Saw the barrel there. Nice adjustment here from, I believe, Bullet moving around the other space. Some shots, but he's not going to hit the critical headshot needed to try and hit that flick onto Trophy there. FaZe will finally be able to pick up a round after what seems like ages.
Had the right read on the situation, just unfortunately couldn't secure that second kill, which would have lined him up for the outright clutch. Nicely done from FaZe, slowing it down, especially after they picked up those 2 trade kills. Super analyzing the situation there, relying heavily on the drone game to finally find those weak points from M80 where they could get those 2 initial picks and then slowly but surely work the site. Great overwatch for the plan as well. Very much the same thing. Finding that blind spot where M80 wouldn't be able to appropriately push out without risking their own players. FaZe Clan are able to get the plant from that. They get the man advantage from that, and then it's just a matter of whittling down the rest of the count from there. Very nicely played from FaZe to at least stabilize things a little bit, but the problem with the scoreboard still sits in front of them. They need 4 more of those just to take us to OT.
Yeah, when you're looking at it on a microscopic level, yeah, it's stable, but then you kind of zoom out the lens there, and it's like, well, how stable is 6-2?
Like, about as stable as a hammer against carbon fiber.
Yeah, that's not very stable. About as stable as your phone battery when it gets pierced. M80, I mean, they're literally just a hair away from taking this victory. And this is the big issue when you get into a situation like this, is it doesn't even have to be M80 winning the round. It just has to be FaZe messing it up. And, you know, so far, M80 has been that much better in a majority of these rounds. So, pretty hot water for FaZe at the current moment. Not a chair that I exactly would want to be in myself, but fortunately enough, that's why we get to talk about the game, isn't it, John?
Indeed, indeed. We have FaZe Clan on the board yet again, making their initial play for Garage and some other portions of the first floor here. This is going to be the tertiary site now from M80, so it could be some more good news to the FaZe Clan fans at home here, as this theoretically should be the weakest site for M80 here. Going to be locking it down very quickly, though, as you can see, even electrified doorways there, making it a little bit more difficult for the members of FaZe Clan to try and breach through the split door and get themselves into meeting itself.
I mean, technically speaking, if Cyber aims as the Yana clone, isn't he just wasting his time because you move slower? You can't shoot back anyway, so, you know.
Yeah, true. maybe he's like preparing for when he has a teammate behind him and they're trying to bait it or something.
No, I'm just giving him
just a reflex, probably more than anything.
Honestly, it's probably just that natural cadence of the map. That's what it always.
Like, oh wait, I'm not a real person right now. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you loaded me into Old House right now, my brain would automatically take over. I'd just start T-hunting immediately.
I forgot I'm a life-size drone currently.
Well, at least FaZe Clan will have access to the lobby, which is quite comical because it is indeed the only place that they're waiting right now. Gonna get the split door open here and see if they can potentially get Diaz dislodged from this other portion of the split hall. And they're looking to go for a plant in this area. This is something quite common that we've started to see more and more when it comes to this bomb site. People really like to break open either this panel or the obvious one being stage. We see a kitchen plant every once in a while, but those are our 2 mainstays.
So FaZe Clan has the angle deployed to try and put that plant down, but they are, I don't believe, are anywhere near the confidence level necessary here to go for the outright push. They still have yet to deal with the bandit on the inside. Astro tries to make a leap after chucking the nade to fend off the support from Kitchen. It does not work. Kino and Diaz pick up 2 more alongside that as well. Bullet and Vitaking are all that remains by the double doors. Vitaking tries to push in through the double, but there's an immediate cross established by Gomez inside of Kitchen, leaving just Bullet in play here with a 1v4 and the final round of the match potentially sitting in front of him here. This is looking like the bitter end of map number 1 here, but we'll still stick with him to see what he can give us inside of what is now a 1v3, having claimed his opening kill of the duel here. Nor is even locked as he tries to go back over towards security from a rotate through. Kitchen trying to play the Hail Mary by going for the other site. He doesn't even really have a good way to get case control back either. As you can see, it's sitting in the corner. There should be someone with Overwatch on that case pretty much immediately. Should be Gomez if he's playing the same position as he was when he got the last kill. And indeed, it's actually, I believe, Diaz over there now. As you can see, his health pool getting shrunk down. It's a sliver of what it was a second ago here, but Bullet not really getting anything, not getting the peaks he needs from M80. Now down to just a sliver of HP, 10 seconds as well. Diaz finally finishes things off, and that's going to be M80 giving us a shutdown on their map pick here to start the series off.
It is the first map, but Souls 12 kills, the rest of the team 12 kills total, John. That doesn't cut it. It just straight up doesn't. You're never going to win a game like that. and especially with Vita King at the helm now, I mean, this just goes back to what the overarching strategy is. We got to put people in more beneficial spaces, you know, try and get something done as a team. I think the biggest thing that you use